Hello students and good day to you all. Today is the 25th of January 2018. A new year is ahead and we're practically looking at two different markets. The first one will be the currency world, when we will focus mainly on the euro versus the Australian dollar, as we've got a good potential trade over there. And the second thing that we will talk about is a long and short term analysis on the Bitcoin price. So let's move forward and try to make some sense based on the information that we can analyze. Going to my trading station, removing the unnecessary information, and there we go. We've got a plain simple chart on a daily chart. So again, what we've talked about for the past several weeks is that our expectation from the Bitcoins dropped down toward the $8,700. We were expecting to receive a downtrend movement for the past several weeks, and indeed we've received this splendid downtrend movement. My expectation is still to see a continuance of a downtrend toward the 8,000, 9,000 level. That will be a logical pullback before we will move forward and climb for additional uptrend. Very logical in terms of economy when we're dealing with the beginning of the year, and obviously when we're seeing what's going on the wide aspect. It takes some time until the market will digest the possibilities and the option of the blockchain economy to find its synergy between the local market, our market, and the cryptocurrency world. We can definitely see, and I've mentioned that several times before, we can definitely see a straight connection between the Bitcoin and the dollar when they are opposite. The dollar is losing strength when money is moving from the financial market toward the Bitcoin price or other cryptocurrencies, and vice versa when we see some panic. Traders are running from their investment in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, and we can see that the market is adding to the strength of the dollar as the Bitcoin is losing strength. For the past week, we've received a counter movement, meaning that the Bitcoin was losing strength, but the dollar was losing strength as well. It has a lot to do with fundamental analysis, what's going on right now between governments, between the world. And during this week, the connection between Bitcoin and the dollar was a bit loose. But tomorrow specifically, we've got a very, very important date in terms of the Bitcoin, as the current future contract on the Bitcoin is going to close. And then we will see the effect, the actual connection between the financial market, stocks and stock exchange, and the Bitcoin price. Now, my assessment is that tomorrow we will see an additional downtrend movement, additional weakness, and that will be blocked, and then we will start the uptrend movement. It might take several days, it might take several weeks, but our expectation is still to see weakness on the Bitcoin price. So generally, I've said that several times before, but I'll mark that on the chart. We've got a plain 3 waves of an uptrend movement. That is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So we've got a very nice 5-wave uptrend movement. From that position, we've got a pullback of a first wave, a second wave climbing up, and a third wave with the expectation to see a continuance of a downtrend. And we can make an assessment again, as we're doing for the past several weeks, with the extension over here. We can make our assessment that this market indeed will reach approximately $8,000 over here, and we can still see it blocking around $8,700. That is my target for the Bitcoin. We've already reached a very, very low territory over here at 9,300, and indeed this downtrend movement was very, very accurate and showed us that there is a very strong potential to see the market indeed reaching our target. For now, we've received a pullback, and a continuance of a downtrend is expected during the next several days. Now, I hear a lot of guys out there that deal with the blockchain market, and they've got a lot of criticism toward the technical analysis process. They have to understand that a growth movement has a specific pattern. It's been confirmed back in the 80s, back in the 30s, and we can see the same reaction at the moment. Now, we can see how other currencies are connected to the Bitcoin. You can see that there's a lot of relationship between the different currencies if they are based on the same algorithm. Okay, so you can see some connection. You can already make a map like we're doing with the idea of correlation, which is the connection between assets. So over here on the blockchain market, we can already see that it's starting to form an autonomy, meaning that it has its own relationship, its own life, connecting between the different assets. And again, we've got connection between assets that aren't under the same algorithm, but under the same motive of the cryptocurrency market. As the Bitcoin is gaining and giving more confidence and gaining strength, we see that it's adding to other currencies in this potential as well. So based on this structure specifically, our expectation is to see a continuance of a downtrend between $8,000 to $9,000 per one Bitcoin. And from that target, I'm expecting it to climb up very nicely during the entire year. So we're expecting to receive a very, very strong uptrend. I don't want to get into advice and things like that, but I see a lot of panic out there. I see traders releasing their investment and getting out of this market. And I really think that in terms of structure, we can expect to receive a very, very long uptrend movement. I've said that my target for this year is approximately $50,000 for one Bitcoin, but we should wait a bit more to see that. Basically, my mark is crossing the $20,000 for one Bitcoin. So that is my target for this specific process. And let's move forward and look at the euro in front of the Australian dollar. This is a specific trade that we gave several weeks ago. From this position, we said that our expectation is to see a continuance of a downtrend movement, approximately 15%, if I'm not mistaken. That was the assessment. Right now, we can see that for the past several weeks, we've received a very, very nice downtrend. And right now, we've received the pullback. Now, I'd like to lower the time frame to show you this structure specifically and our expectation. So in terms of the inner structure analysis, we can first of all divide the different waves according to the Elliott wave analysis. And my assessment is that we're already seeing a completion of a corrective pattern, an A, B, and C structure climbing up. Now we can say that even the measurements right now are very, very similar to what we expect to receive from a corrective pattern. Okay? Reaching the 78% of an uptrend movement in equivalent to the A wave. So in terms of structure, we might see a continuance of an uptrend toward the 1.55 territory. In addition to that, we can measure the entire downtrend structure. That will give us a more accurate target in terms of measurement. So we can see that this territory specifically, when we've closed this specific candle over here, it was between the 50% and the 61.8% of a retracement process in front of this downtrend movement. So this structure has fulfilled its potential. And right now, I see a great potential for a continuous downtrend from this position already, not climbing toward the higher 1.55 territory. Just with the additional information that we received regarding this entire structure. So this is a very logical target that we're seeing over here, climbing up between the 61.8% to the 50%, and our expectation is to see a continuance of a downtrend from this position and forward. So traders that left this position at this territory, I advise you to rejoin or partially rejoin this trade for a downtrend movement based on the money management process that you're conducting on your account. And that will be it for this week. Next week we will have another session at the beginning of the week, because I do believe that during the end of this week we will see a significant movement on the Bitcoin that will help us to divide and aim our target in a more precise formation. If you feel that you'd like to learn a bit more about the markets or even get into a full course, you're more than welcome to join our sessions on our website, thefinancialacademy.com. And from here, I'd like to say have a pleasant weekend, all the best with your trades, and bye-bye.